Kyle helped establish the nonprofit FitGo Cares Foundation. It helps veterans battling PTSD get access to exercise equipment. The foundation described Kyle as an American hero and pledged to carry on his mission to help vets.
It is something most of us, you and I, take for granted, being able to move around pain-free. But when nearly every move is excruciating, you just want it to stop. But if you don't have health insurance or access to medical care, what do? The man you're about to meet gave up until a relatively new program offered surgery to take away his pain and rebuild him. Guess what else? It didn't cost him a thing. Imagine if every step you took was a struggle, if every movement was painful. And now imagine feeling that discomfort for the last 20 years. Welcome to Roger Brockway's world.
The walking is hard. Standing is hard. Later on, the hip wants to lock up. If I'm sitting too long, it wants to lock up. When I stand too long, it wants to lock up.
The pain started, he says, after he had surgery on his back. It wasn't just an inconvenience, it seemed unbearable. On a scale from 1 to 10, he describes the discomfort at...
I'm about a 24. I've had pain at night, it's hard to sleep.
And that discomfort had a domino effect. He gave up many of the things he enjoyed and needed to survive, like his job.
I can only do a couple hours and I'm worn out because of the leg. Because of the hip problem, I can't do an 8-hour job anymore. I'm worn out.
Why don't you come with me? I can take that. Do you need a wheelchair?
No.
Turns out what Roger really needed was hip replacement surgery. But with no work, there was no health insurance. And then there was no hope and little quality of life. Pleasant distractions like riding his bike were sidelined. He simply thought,
I'd be living with this hip until I die.
But then came an email, a note from a manager at Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. The note told him that there was a program for total hip replacement surgery. It's called Operation Walk. It's been going on for 2 years in the United States, but the organization was started several years ago by several orthopedic surgeons with a vision.
Initially, it was internationally based to go to developing countries, to go in almost as a mass unit with the operating rooms, the materials, perform about 40 to 50 hip and knee replacements in a single week, and go to different parts of the world. This is the second year now where they extended it to the United States to provide care, to provide free hip and knee replacements for patients that are uninsured.
Right now there are 100 surgeons performing 200 surgeries for free on patients. Dr. Chris Evanek knew Roger fit the bill of a perfect candidate.
Prognosis should be great. He's excited to get this done. He's very motivated to do his physical therapy. He has several deformities that we're going to be able to correct with the total hip replacement. And these replacements now last 25 to 30 years. So Roger should have a pretty fruitful, productive life, about 99% or greater pain relief.
The day of the surgery brings excitement, nerves, and tears only a mom would show.
Excuse me.
While she waits outside the surgery room, inside there are preparations, including jokes to lighten the mood.
Coming at you like a NASCAR pit crew, huh?
The surgery is underway. The joint that has caused Roger so much discomfort is slowly replaced. 3 days after the surgery,
Been waiting for this day 20 years.
painful memories are replaced by tears of joy.
I haven't been able to do that for 20 years to walk. Took 20 years to walk normal again. And I'm able to do it again with no limp whatsoever, no pain whatsoever.
The conversation has turned from what he can't do to what he will do.
I can go snowmobiling, I can play baseball, ride my bike like I used to, work, I can work.
But first, Roger has to put in another kind of work with his physical therapist. Doctor's orders, and there's no time to slack.
With Roger, we have the additional obstacle, so to speak, of his soft tissues. So I'm sure next visit when we get 6 weeks later, when he has therapy on his back, when he can stretch the tissues on the side of his thigh where he was getting some burning and tightness, usually at next visit in 6 weeks, most of that should be worked out.
With the right leg?
There may be some ups and downs, but Roger says it's all worth it as he takes his first steps towards a new life.
Everything's back to normal. Everything's readjusting itself, going where it belongs.
Arthritic disease is the #1 disabling disease in the U.S. More than 41 million people are affected. Joints deteriorate, and eventually people can't walk at all, and they're in constant pain. Surgery really is the only option. And of course, Ted, without that insurance, without programs like Operation Walk, people are just kind of left to deal with the pain and kind of give up living in a sense.
For him, fortunately for him, he was selected. He's got to do the work, though. He's got to put in the sweat equity to get back and to get to where he was 20 years ago.
And he's more than willing to do that, more than happy to do that. When you see this quality of life coming back, he said in the interview we didn't show, he said, I can go grocery shopping again.
Yeah.
Pushing a cart was like, the things we take for granted.
Things we take for granted, as you said. Good for him, good for the program.
Yeah.
Well, this is the day football fans relish. It's Super Bowl Sunday.
But for law enforcement, it is Super